Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the semi-finals of SATAC 2023. We have inSky versus Bushido Fighter Group in a best of 5. You know how this all starts. You've been here before, and the first things first, it's time for a dice roll. All right, get the dice rolling. It's between Caucasus and the Persian Gulf. So 3, 2, 1. Number 6, and that is Midday with 3-layer clouds, Tbilisi versus Sukhumi. Let me pass that over to the organizers. How are you all doing? Meanwhile, the other option that we have to go with is the coin flip. Bushido Fighter Group has selected tails, and Bushido Fighter Group selects the starting side. So that is all of our dice rolling. Okay, let me just pass this information over to the organizers. And then we can get started. How are you all going? How are you feeling? Hello, CVW20. Hello, Spaceman. Hello, Mika VT. Hello, Tyrant Mammal King. How are you all doing? The server is starting. And we are ready for some aerial battle. Make sure that all of our tools are connected. And make sure that everything is going smoothly. Now, seeing as we're in the semi-finals now, it does mean that there are some changes. One of which is that we are now relying on human GCI. Human GCI using lot ATC. In addition to that, it's a best of 5 as opposed to the best of 3 rounds that we've been having, and it's a knockout. Let's see if I can show you guys lot ATC. I needed to test this. This will take 45 seconds, so give me a second. You guys should be able to see lot ATC now. It's a method by which people can receive information from the AWACS and begin to communicate information to their team members. We'll see how this all looks. Mika's feeling a little bit eepy, and Anamaki is here to support the Bushido Fighter Group. Sounds fantastic. Also, we'll be supported by TechView Telemetry here. So let's have a look, as Bushido Fighter Group have selected the blue side, and spawning at the moment we have Shinobi, Dart, E-Dub, Dusty11, Grunt Life, and Raptordad spawning in. And then somewhere over here we should have... Oh, looks like the lot ATC screen isn't working. Never mind. That was a test, and it's not working. Okay, so let's have a look at the teams. Who here has used lot ATC before? Meanwhile, we have inSky spawning in with their custom skins. inSky Virtual Flight Group, most of these guys originating from China. We have 1986 Yanyu spawning in, along with another Yanyu. Oh, hello. So it looks like we have 3 F-16s, 2 F-18s, and is that an F-15C in the background? Looks like it. Perfect. Looking good, looking good. Just have to make sure that everything is copacetic. Always takes a little bit of organizing. Meanwhile, the members of BFG are spawning in. So we have Grunt Life, Dusty, E-Dub, and who have we got here? Like we'll have to check on the F10 map. We have Dart in the F18. You've been a controller. Lovely. Shinobi in the F18. Beginning of the taxiway. Shinobi leading the way in the F18. So it looks like we have 4 F16s and 2 F18s on the Bushido Fighter Group's side. Switch this over to satellite. And then on the other side, we have 3 F16s, 2 F18s, and an F15 for inSky. So a relatively even Stevens matchup here. And here we see them equipping themselves. SATAC rules define that there is a maximum of 4 AIM 120 style missiles. That's the Fox 3 missiles. So it looks like we have 4 on the wings of the F-16s, along with jamming pods. Okay, so the F-16s for inSky are jamming. Meanwhile, oh god, look at this loadout. We've got the double ugly. We've got the asymmetrical. Gross. This F-18 bringing the asymmetrical loadout, not bringing a single Sparrow. Meanwhile, this F-18 is bringing loads of Sparrows, 4 Sparrows, in exchange for getting everything ready. Looks like the mission may need to be restarted, so that's all good. And what about the F-15? F-15 making the decision that many F-15s have been taking is not to take anything on the outboard pylon of the wing. It has a drag effect. We'll get the mission restarted so that we can disable the F5 view. So thank you for your patience, but there will be plenty of SATAC action to come as we see the beautiful liveries of the members of Bushido Fighter Good. See the sky as the way, and the way as the sky. All right, everything's restarting. So, you have to look at me for a little bit. Let's say thank you to the sponsors of SATAC. Heat Blur, Eagle Dynamics, VKB, Magnitude 3, Decker Ironworks, Razbam, TacView, and Lot ATC. Particular attention to Lot ATC, as this is the round in which we will now be relying on human GCI. So these planes will not be able to rely on their data link quite so much as they did before. They will be needing to use the information received from their human GCIs to ensure that they are kept into the situational awareness. Let's have a poll for the first round. Let's see who you're here to support. We'll leave that running for 5 minutes. Make sure you get your votes in. I want to know who you're here to support while we get everything set up and running. What do you usually fly, Asho? I usually fly everything. I fly just about everything there is. I fly... In fact, it would be easy to tell you what I don't fly. Of all the planes in DCS, I don't fly the Mirage 2000 yet, and the Apache yet, but that is all going to change sometime soon, as we see Grunt Life spawning in, or Bushido. And here we see the EAS Grunt Life. Evidently a veteran. Coming in swinging here. You're not seeing airshow as an option on the poll. Never mind. Dusty spawning in. And the remainder of the F-16s and F-18s begin making their way. So we remove the SRS overlay. As we begin to watch the boys make their way down to the runway. Thank you for the gifted subs, Spaceman. Much appreciated. The I-16 isn't on a list of planes you don't fly. Well, the World War II planes are on a whole different level, but if you want to get petty when it comes to World War II aircraft, I can fly the BF-109 K4, the FW-190 D9 and A8, and the Mosquito. I'm a veritable DCS master, you can count on that. And I'll be back in 1 second. I just need to close my window. Okay, now we are looking at inSky as they prepare their jets with these bright yellow canopies, all of them bringing jammers. inSky is such a veteran team. They have demonstrated themselves over and over again, and they were the winners of SATAC 2022, coming into this knockout round with intent to make everything work again. And look at these beautiful liveries. I can't get enough of them. Look at all this. Okay, so for inSky we have Yanyu, HTWJ, Dreamwalker, XG, Shirasaki Sugumi, and La Superterre, which I think is French for superhead. Meanwhile, over on the BFG side, oh, and it looks like BFG are the favourites with 56% of the vote. We have Raptordad, Dart, E-Dub, Shinobi, Dusty, and Gruntlife. Some of these familiar faces within the community, all of which deserve your support. SATAC is a wonderful organisation involving people from all over the world. A wonderful opportunity for us to put the politics of the real world aside, to not worry about what's happening in the real world, and to instead focus on the quality of aerial combat between some of our friends and people who might be our friends in the future. I see a delightfully... Oh, hello! I see my favourites. What have we got here? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a single racked AIM-120 and old PALDs, tactical air launched decoys, being on the wings of this BFG jet. Wouldn't be SATAC without a couple of tolls to keep things interesting. Only bringing the 2. Now this is one of the more unique loadouts we've seen on an F-18. The aeroplanes making their way to their starting lines. It looks like they're not making advantage of the dual runways, instead electing to all take off from the primary runway of Tbilisi. We see the beautiful liveries of the Bushido fighter group as they prepare for takeoff. Meanwhile, over in Sochi, who have we got left to go? Looks like XG is the first up and is packing the light loadout with just an extra fuel tank on the external pylon. Meanwhile, the F-16s are not all bringing jammers now. In fact, the middle F-16 is bringing an extra fuel tank. It's an interesting call. What about the F-15? Very stock standard F-15 loadout. This will be their high altitude fighter, I have no doubt. Looking gorgeous. There is evidently something about the external pylon, the outside pylon of the F-15, because plenty of F-15s elect not to take anything on that outside pylon. It must have a real effect on their drag performance. Meanwhile, Shirasaki Sugumi is bringing extra Sparrows, and the Sparrows are not to be underestimated. You can hear that familiar honking noise that you only get from F-18s. Meanwhile, the Bushido fighter group is looking pretty ready. I reckon we'll hear from them shortly. How to ensure that one side doesn't have up-sun advantage? Well, let's have a look. Where is the sun today? Looks like it's just over the horizon. In fact, there it is. There is a coin flip at the start, and they do pick their sides according to the coin flip, but they switch sides after every 2 rounds. So, the advantage, if it's an advantage for one side, then the other side gets that advantage when they get the chance to fly on the other side. How does this work, Officer Haynes? I'll tell you. So, both sides spawn in at their airfields and take off. They fly towards this circle in the middle here that you can see, which is the middle of the Caucasus Mountains. And then if one team controls this mountain, this circle rather, for 5 minutes uncontested, they win, so long as they can fly back to base and land. So, what's probably going to happen is both teams are going to fly into the circle, making it contested, which means that they're going to have to shoot each other down to make sure that they have sole control of the circle. And when they have sole control of the circle, they keep it for 5 minutes, and then at least one player on their team has to make it back and land alive. BFG, reports ready. What about inSky? Looks like everyone will be reporting ready shortly. As we see the F-18 and the F-15 at the very front of the line here. Both teams ready. All right, it's time to start. Both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. All right, and that means that it's time for the matches to start, and we should see inSky beginning their run. Come on, inSky. The match has started. Got to take off, inSky. What's happening? Okay, well, what about the other side? As we see the members of BFG beginning to take off. If they die, they respawn? No, it's one life only for the match. Maybe inSky is developing some advanced tactics I'm not familiar with, but the first two F-16s from BFG are taking off. Is inSky taking off? Is everything okay? Okay, inSky is taking off now. And here we have the F-18 and the F-15 starting their takeoff run for inSky. I wonder if the delayed takeoff was intentional or if it was part of a mistake. Either way, we have Dusty, the second member of the first group for inSky, for BFG, taking off. Let's see this beautiful formation making their way up into the sky. Looks like Dusty's brought the jamming pod and his wingman has brought extra fuel. Dirty fuel tricks, says Xerox. We shall see. As we see Raptor Dad, the last of the members of BFG, taking off down the runway. Gear up. Flaps up. Although that's not all that relevant for the F-16. Meanwhile, the F-15 for inSky is breaking the sound barrier as it climbs up and up and up and up. Passing through 30,000 feet. And continuing its upwards climb. Looks like everyone from inSky is up, but Yanyu and the other F-16 are staying low. Interesting tactics. Meanwhile, thank you for the Prime subscription, Oz Dead Meat. We have Dusty and who's the other one? E-Dub leading the way They'll be the first ones in the circle by far. Looks like EW is taking advantage of Dusty's ECM here by sticking close, managing to hide within their radar signature. And how beautiful is that formation? Just look at this. Whoosh! There they go. Looks like EW is going to be the first one into the circle, but XG is not far away. The current separation is 115 nautical miles. XG has already jettisoned that ugly, ugly right-hand side fuel tank and is beginning to make their way into the circle. Full afterburner and cruising at 28,000 feet, nearly 29. And that will mean that we have a fight going on. Let's see if we hear the sound barrier. Kaboom! There we go. All right, current separation is 104 nautical miles. Not quite close enough for any kind of lock, but they will definitely start getting a picture of where each other are. Sadly, I can't show you guys lot ATC, such as it is, but I can tell you that all of these targets are appearing on the radar screen at the moment, and they should have a good awareness of where each other are. And it looks like they have begun separating out. Dusty and EW, the vanguard for BFG Super Tear, looks like they're going all the way up into the north. Okay, let's have a look at the weather. So this is 3-layer cloud at midday. We have a look from the ground level. There is actually enough space underneath the clouds to be able to do some low altitude maneuvering. But these clouds will definitely have an effect on visual battle. So there's plenty of gaps in the cloud that you can sneak through, and not too many of the clouds that actually obscure the tops of mountains, which means that CFIT, controlled flight into terrain, may not be on the cards unless they get stuck in this southern area here, where the clouds descend all the way down into the valleys, which is exactly where EW looks like they're going. Got to be careful there. Okay, so Dusty is heading north, EW is heading south, and we are getting very close to what may be the first shots. Dusty and XG are only 50 nautical miles away from each other, almost within range from a potential shot. La Super Terre drops the fuel tanks and is now cruising at 500 knots. Indicated at 40,000 feet, and begins the turn in. Bang! There he goes. Absolutely soaring at the moment. Looks like Dusty, Shinobi, and Dart are well aware of the northern threat from the F-15. Shirasaki, Sagumi, Yanyu, Dreamwalker, and HTWJ at relatively low altitudes and low speeds are not pressing into this fight too enthusiastically. It looks like EW and Grunt Life are beginning to lose a little bit of altitude here, but want to keep control of the mountainous area in the south. All right, chat, I want you to tell me, who are you here to support as we see the first missile come off the wings? XG launches an AIM-120 towards Dusty. This missile going absolutely stratospheric at 51,000, 52,000, 53,000, and climbing. Let's see where the apoapsis of this missile shot ends up being. 58,000, 59, 60,000 as it peaks over the top, 61, or 61,300 is the apoapsis of this shot, but it does not look like it's being guided towards anything at the moment. La Super-Terre traveling at light speed at this high altitude. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of these AIM 120s come off the hull soon. Anamaki's here for Bushido. Mika's here for the F-16s. Ozjet Media's here for BFG. So is Shorty Guns. Lots of BFG supporters here as we see the first of the tactical air launch decoys make their way into the sky. La Super-Terre at 50,000 feet. Not launching anything just yet, but I reckon any second now anything could come off the rails. Lots of BFG fans here. Anyone here for inSky? All right, XG, 22 nautical miles from Grunt Life. Super-Terre, 27 from Grunt Life, 23 from EDub. Shinobi is only 18 nautical miles away, but at low altitude and cruising through the muck down here. The Super-Terre deciding not to shoot anything here, keeping hold of all of their weapons, but at that altitude and at that speed, maybe seeking to bait out some shots from the members of BFG. We see Grunt Life start turning in towards La Super-Terre. I wonder if we'll see a shot. No shot being taken just yet, but there's a 120 fired by La Super-Terre towards Grunt Life. This missile has potential, traveling at 1,700 knots at 22,000 feet. Grunt Life is maneuvering hard to try and get away from it. Has some speed. And of course the cameras and DCS want me to look at the ground. This missile running out of speed. I don't think it's much of a threat. Passing below 700 knots now. I don't think Grunt Life is in any threat from this one as he travels very quickly to get away. Just make sure you don't seef it. And perfect. As the missile escaped. No kills. It's a 6v6. But Raptor-Dad... What is Raptor-Dad doing? Raptor-Dad just rifled off two AIM 120s here. Is everything okay with Raptor-Dad? Raptor-Dad fires off two AIM 120s outside of the zone that aren't going towards anything. I don't know what happened there, but Raptor-Dad is jettisoning some missiles for one reason or another. If the organisers could potentially clue me in onto what happened there, that would be great. HTWJ at 16,000 feet, still with the external fuel tanks. Beginning to light up the burners and begin making their way towards Grunt Life. They're only 10 nautical miles away. Grunt Life at 16,000 feet. Got to be careful here. Raptor-Dad just team killed his own... Raptor-Dad just team killed his own A50. I don't understand why. Okay. The A50 for BFG is down now. I don't know why that would have happened. Grunt Life and Yanyu, only 11 nautical miles away. No, his loadout was valid. It was a shot between Grunt Life and Super Tear. The shot from Super Tear going to have to head right down through the clouds here. But does it have the potential? As it closes in on a member of Grunt Life, got to be careful. Oh, did Grunt Life just get schwacked there? Grunt Life, I think, might have just gotten away with it. Grunt Life gets away from that shot that probably should have killed him. Dusty launches an AIM 120. You have no idea what's happening. You can't look away. Sounds like me when I'm cooking. I don't know why Raptor Dad did that. Meanwhile, a missile from Dusty towards Dreamwalker. So we have Bushido with no AWACS now. Dreamwalker comfortably getting away from this 120, which has no speed and no altitude. That is no factor. E-Dub pressing the attack potentially here, actually going defensive. Let's have a look. Amazing camera angle air show. Really well done with that one. Alright. E-Dub is well and truly within the soup, but is progressing above the clouds now. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Looking good. Grunt Life has a 120 coming in and fires one at XG, but both of them bank themselves into the terrain. No factor. Shinobi trades a AIM 120 towards Dreamwalker. Dreamwalker got to be careful here. This missile looks like it's being spoofed into the terrain in a big way. There it goes. The trees get bushwhacked. And just let me mute my Discord because someone is pinging the fuck out of me. There we go. Plenty of missiles being traded back and forth, but no kills just yet. Super Tear above E-Dub here with two 120s left. Grunt Life fires towards Shirasaki Tsugumi and begins going defensive in a big way. This missile heading towards Shirasaki. Looks like Shirasaki's getting away from that one. Missiles traded between Raptor Dad and HTWJ. Looks like the one towards HTWJ has a little bit more potential. HTWJ pulling some shapes to get away. Looks like Super Tear managed to take down Dart in the north. Super Tear and Grunt Life right next to each other. Super Tear firing a missile down through the clouds, but has no AIM 120s left. A 120 fired at XG from inSky. Might be spoofed into the terrain here. Oh, hello. Did XG go down? XG goes down. And Grunt Life manages to dodge the 120 just by a millisecond. So it's even Stevens between the teams. Actually, it's a 4v5. Who went down? Grunt Life killed XG. And Dusty disconnected. Okay. AIM 7MH and AIM 120s heading in towards Grunt Life here at the moment. This is looking a little bit hectic. Grunt Life is going to have to defend hard against all of these missiles coming in towards them. No luck with Grunt Life. Grunt Life gets splashed here. This AIM 7, no factor against E-Dub. It's a 3v5. Raptor Dad fires an AIM 9 towards HTWJ. No track. The 125 towards Raptor Dad. Has speed. Raptor Dad needs to notch this. Raptor Dad doesn't notch this, but survives the shot through a miracle. A 125 towards another member of BFG. No factor. That is heading into the terrain. Raptor Dad fires another 120 as we see a merge between the members of BFG. A 120 off the rails. Looks like it might be towards HWJ. E-Dub deep behind enemy lines. HWJ going to have to contend with this one and manages to get away with it. Terrain spoofs it. 120 shaved in both directions. A short range 120 shot towards Shirasaki. And it looks like it's going for the enemy missile. It goes for the enemy missile. Unbelievable. Yanyu manages to dodge just by centimeters. It's a 2v5. E-Dub and Shinobi are the last ones remaining. E-Dub gets splashed. And it's Shinobi, the last one standing. Facing off and firing aim 9s against HTWJ. HTWJ gets splashed by that aim 9 shot. Shinobi gets a kill. What's Shinobi got left? Shinobi's got aim 9s and that's it. Shinobi surrounded by bandits. Even got some on the 6. In all directions, Shinobi is surrounded, launches an aim 9. Shinobi gets splashed, though, as aim 9s and aim 120s head in from all directions. And that puts inSky in charge of the terrain. Let's have a look at the TAC view and see what we missed. So the first kill that we missed was La Super, who was very high and very fast here. Launching 2 aim 120s here. And I think it's this one towards Dart that connects. Dart pulling some shapes here. But not quite spoofing this 120. Dart gets splashed. That was the first one that went down. La Super directly above Grunt Life and E-Dub. You would have thought they could have got a shot off here. But Grunt Life instead fires 120s at XG. And gets the kill, actually. So Grunt Life comes out here. Very close range shot against XG. Who doesn't quite manage to notch it into the terrain. Almost does, but doesn't quite get away with it. Grunt Life survives a missile shot there. Aim 7's being traded in all directions. La Super is just causing trouble at high altitude. Shirasaki, Sugumi, and Yanyu firing against Grunt Life. But getting away from this many missiles is not going to be easy. And certainly Grunt Life gets splashed there. Missiles traded in both directions between Raptidad and HTWJ. Both get spoofed. Shinobi and Dreamwalker, they trade shots between each other. And both get spoofed into the terrain. E-Dub from high altitude. How did E-Dub get up here? E-Dub just went high altitude all the way, and only when he was over all of the bandits decides to attack. Fires a 120 towards HWJ, but it gets spoofed by the terrain. A 120. Look at this. So this is incredible. E-Dub comes in and fires a 120 at these two targets, but of all of the things it could go for, it is definitely tracking the 120 that was launched by a different member of inSky and follows it into the terrain. So that 120 chases another 120 into the ground, robbing BFG of what could have been a kill that they desperately needed there. And, oh no, how did this happen? Shinobi turns in. E-Dub is here. Shinobi picks up E-Dub, launches an AIM-9. E-Dub gets splashed by a friendly AIM-9. Shinobi took out his last remaining teammate and was left all by themselves to inevitably get splashed. Manages to score HCWJ, but is not going to survive the onslaught of missiles from Shirasaki, Tsugumi, Dreamwalker, and Yanyu, which deals with him in no short order. Looks like the members of inSky are making it back home. All in all, not what we expected from Bushido Fighter Group. Maybe it's nerves, maybe it's confusion, maybe it's the first round jitters. But Bushido Fighter Group seeming to not quite be steady in that first round. No SA due to a dead AWACS? I'm not sure. Why splash the AWACS? I don't know. Confusion? I don't know why that happened. And down they proceed. La Superterre is going to be the first one to try and make something happen here. Pretty high angle for an F-15 landing, but if you're confident, then you're confident. And La Superterre makes it down safely, securing round one for inSky. Alright, Dreamwalker, Yanyu, Shirasaki, Tsugumi next up. The important thing to remember here is that inSky is a very formidable team. They have won competitions before, plenty of competitions before, and they know what they're doing. inSky is an incredibly formidable team to go up against in a competition like SATAC. And you can forgive the members of BFG for the nerves that might be associated. Dreamwalker making their way down to the runway now, and touchdown. Looks pretty smooth to me. Another member of inSky coming in, Yanyu's next. Yanyu makes it look easy. F-16 down. A little bit of aero braking. Make sure that the crew chief isn't angry about you about the brakes. Perfect. Down. One left, and that is Shirosaki Sugumi. Making their way down to the runway. That beautiful inSky livery. Thank you for the follow, California 909 and 81 Banana. Good to see you too. You missed the first round. There's plenty more to come. This is a best of 5. So, in the next round, the sides will be switched. And there'll be plenty of more fighting to come. As Shirosaki lands comfortably on the runway. Perfect. So that is everyone from inSky down and on the ground. Orders will be given to restart. And then we'll get ready for the next round. Okay, So the server is restarting and getting ready for the next round. This is your chance to go and get yourself a drink, go to the bathroom, and get ready for the next one. Alright guys, I'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. What did you miss, Fun Revenge? A hell of a first round. Things got off to a pretty rough start for the members of BFG. But I think that there is potential that they have got to come back and make sure that everything goes smoothly into round 2. pretty shortly I'll have something to show you. Let's have a look. The slightly prolonged be right back was to make sure that I can get this skin working for the F-15 for inSky. La Super Terre. Apparently a fan of Chihaya Kisaragi. I mean, ever since the Second World War, we've been drawing our waifus on the sides of our aircraft. So, who are we to judge? Technically, it's historically accurate. Grunt Life. Fresh off the first battle. Making their way towards the runway. So, for the members of BFG, we have Grunt Life, Shinobi, Dusty11, E-Dub, Raptor Dad, and Dart spawning in. We hear the F-18s and F-16s for BFG make their way. Let's have a look at how the members of inSky are doing. Looking good in all blue. Look at how yellow these cockpits are. I wonder if it's this yellow from the pilot's perspective. Everything looking good and ready. You still hear Discord? Thank you for letting me know. I will mute that. The members of inSky make their way down as La Super Terre takes Chihaya Kisaragi down to the runway. So, the members of inSky heading down to the runway. Meanwhile, how do the members of BFG look? I reckon we'll hear ready to go from BFG shortly. Have we got any tolds? 2 tolds for one of the F-18s, just like last time. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. That's all good, that's fine. No fuel tanks for the front one, but I reckon we'll see those put on now that they're in position, just for the little bit of extra fuel. Every drop counts. So it's a 2-3-1 lineup for BFG. BFG looks like they're just about to tell me that they're ready. Meanwhile, inSky, taking advantage of the dual runways here, we see the F-18 and the F-15 at the front of the line. And then over here, we see the little jets making their way. BFG reports ready. Just waiting for inSky to take to the runway. And they'll be ready in any moment now. As they prepare themselves. And looking good, a fearsome bunch. It's like Dusty and E-Dub will be the first ones to go for BFG. Both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. All right, that begins round 2. As we see Dusty and E-Dub light up their afterburners and start making their way down the runway. Thus begins round 2. As SATAC gets schmoovin'. Beautiful takeoff. Both of these pilots in good synchronization with each other. And what more could you want? Meanwhile, Shinobi, Gruntlife, and Dart, the next one's up. Looks like Gruntlife is leading the way as the F-18s follow in close order. And up they go. Got to be careful though. Let's just keep an eye on Dart here, having to deal with some really serious wake turbulence. But managing to get off the ground. Perfect. How are we looking over on inSky's side? Everyone's taking off, and it looks like Yanyu and Dreamwalk are the last ones. So, La Superterre is heading towards the south this time. at a very high speed. So, managed to do cover on the north in the first round, this time going south. Got to keep an eye on this AWACS after having had been brutally destroyed by Raptor Dad in the first round. This AWACS is probably feeling stressed, but we'll still be transmitting information to the GCI for both teams. This A50 providing all the necessary information to the teams. E-Dub and Dusty in close formation heading into the circle. Dart is reporting RTB emergency. In the first round, Raptor Dad turned around and splashed his own AWACS. Not entirely sure why that happened, but it did. Hopefully everything's going okay with Dart. Looks like Dart has landing gear issues. And there we have it. So, the members of BFG entering this one band down. Circle is contested with Super Terror in the south, XG and HTWJ entering the circle, E-Dub and Dusty making their way in. Looks like Dart suffered a landing gear malfunction after takeoff. Unfortunately, that means they're out. He can't repair his jet and take off again? No, he can't. It is destroyed. Okay, so looks like BFG is preferring the north as inSky collects up around the southern area. Super Tear going to be disappointed with nothing to attack up here. Dropping those fuel tanks. Get your poop in a group, boys. Well, there's still plenty of rounds for them to make something happen here. Yes, in terms of disconnections and issues with your aircraft, once your wheels have left the ground, it is all over. You have to fly what you've got. That means if you break something on takeoff and your wheels leave the ground, or if you disconnect after your wheels leave the ground, that's it. You're done. If you want to know my honest opinion, I think that having those two F-18s taking off after the F-16, I think that Dart got caught in the wake turbulence, and I think Dart smashed his landing gear against the ground and potentially destroyed something so his landing gear wouldn't retract. If that's what happened, that sucks, but that's part of the game. Looks like we have XG leading the way here. Super Tear actually heading in potentially to prosecute these members of BFG. Yes, they do have AWACS, but this is the knockout rounds, Cobra Snakebite. So their AWACS is a player. A player has to be using LOT ATC to provide information to the pilots, and so they have AWACS, but the information must be passed on to them by a member of their team. So they have 6 pilots, but there's a 7th person who is being their GCI, aka Ground Control Intercept. Super Tear heading off over here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a shot. I hope everything is okay with Bushido Fighter Group. I know that they're capable of really good flying. And there goes a missile. I hope that there's nothing causing them trouble. Missile comes off the wings from Super Tear, and it looks like it's going towards E-Dub, who's going to have to go defensive here, and has a lot of cloud to contend with here. I'm surprised Shinobi's not fighting at Super Tear at 6 nautical miles. E-Dub got this missile to contend with. Just off the nose. E-Dub, be careful, be careful. Oh, E-Dub doesn't pull enough shapes, but does E-Dub survive? E-Dub survives in another miracle where the missile doesn't manage to proxy fuse the right way. Super Tear potentially getting shortchanged there. That's a shame. Looks like XG is chasing down Dusty. Grunt Life starts turning in. Grunt Life might be lining up for a missile shot here. And sure enough, a missile comes off. A 7, almost 8 nautical miles shot towards XG. Proxy fuse lagged, probably. Well, interestingly enough, the people with the ping advantage in this match should technically be BFG. The members of inSky are all from China, and they probably have the highest pings to deal with in this circumstance. So if there's any latency issues, well, the members of inSky are probably getting the worst of it. There's no proxy fuse in multiplayer. Well, there you go. EW gets lucky. I must remind you guys that I am casting this match. I have no control over the organization or the rules or anything like that. So when it comes to issues with the format, the ping, or server organization, or anything like that, unfortunately, I am completely unable to help you. The organizers of this event are the 51st PVO, and let me tell you, they put a lot of effort into all of this, and they want it to be as fair a competition as possible. If you're interested in any of their socials, then let me stop messing up this copy and paste. You can interact with them here. But yes, I'm just casting. I'm here watching just like you. But I think it's important to say thank you to the organisers of SATAC. The 51st PVO puts an enormous amount of effort into organising this competition, ultimately for no benefit of their own, really. They just do it for the love of flying, and they want to provide an environment where all of the competitors can do their best. As we see Super Tear with 3 AIM-120s left to go. In fact, in chat, I'd really like all of you guys to say thank you to the 51st PVO. Thank you for organising SATAC. Thank you for all of your involvement in the competition. And thank you for giving us a place to fly some competitive DCS. We'll say thank you to the 51st PVO. Thank you to SPQR for helping us with the servers, especially Alpagator. And thank you very much to Special K and his DCS server bot for providing us with statistics for all of these SATAC matches. Grunt Life might be lining up for a shot here as I mash the wrong button on my keyboard. 120 coming off the rails towards XG at 7 nautical miles. Let's see what this missile's got. Thank you, Zanik. I know they appreciate it. OzMate, I know they appreciate it. Organising competitions like this isn't easy. So a little bit of patience and a little bit of sympathy for the problems that our beloved digital combat simulation can provide us goes a long way. And kaboom, down goes a couple of trees in the Caucasus Mountains. Unfortunately, the Caucasus Mountains is not on either team here. Looks like Andy is only 11 nautical miles, and Super Tear launches an AIM-120 off the rails at super high altitude. Maybe you're going towards Shinobi. This missile goes down far, far, far away. And kaboom! Down goes another member of the 51st. Raptor Dad having to defend hard against this 120. Raptor Dad maneuvering. Raptor Dad, come on! Oh, Raptor Dad gets splashed as well. This missile going towards E-Dub. Losing all of its speed, so no kill there. Looks like Dusty might be lining up for an attack. Missile comes off the wings from Dusty. Looks like it's towards Yanyu. 6 nautical mile shot. No dice. It splashes into the mountains. Looks like Dreamwalker is proceeding. Launches name 120. Pretty high off bore sight shot, potentially towards E-Dub. 2 missiles heading in towards E-Dub here at the moment, who fires 2 in return. Short range shots between Dreamwalker and Oh, let's see what Dreamwalker's got. That missile impacts in amongst the mountains. E-Dub having to defend hard here, but looks like they might have gotten away with it. Grunt Life is chasing down Dreamwalker here. Dumping out flares and maneuvering hard. Grunt Life manages to get away from that shot. Unbelievable. Grunt Life has still got it. Looks like it's only 6 nautical miles between Dusty and XG. Missiles being fired in both directions between Dusty and XG. Dusty has plenty of mountain to hide behind here, and certainly does that. Switch on that dogfight mode, Dusty. Come on. Dusty and XG right next to each other now. It's going to be a merge. And there it is. Dusty sees him. Slots him behind. The two of them are right next to each other now. Dusty and XG are in a full-blown merge. XG starts spamming out countermeasures. A high off-bore sight missile. I don't know if that's going to have the energy to do it. Another missile doesn't have the energy to do it. And kaboom! Down goes another member as Dusty gets taken out by Andy, who comes in to support his friend. And Grunt Life and E-Dub are the last 2 remaining. Grunt Life not far away from the enemy. Looks like Dreamwalker and Andy. This 120 coming in towards Grunt Life. Has it got any potential, though? Grunt Life... Is Grunt Life notching this? Grunt Life? Hello? Missile coming in towards Grunt Life, doing the AMRAM shaker, runs out of energy. E-Dub merged up with the plane just beneath him. And E-Dub goes down. Plenty of missiles fired towards E-Dub. Grunt Life, the last one remaining, sees his friend dying just above him. Launches an off-bore sight missile towards a member of inSky, which connects, gets the kill. Launches another off-bore sight missile. Grunt Life gets Dreamwalker in exchange, but Grunt Life gets splashed with an AIM-9M fired in response. And the members of inSky, Andy, XG, HCWJ, and Yanyu are the remainder. And HCWJ fires off the last of their missiles into the Caucasus Mountains. Okay, so they've got plenty of flying left to do to get back. I'm not entirely sure if there's too much on the TAC view we haven't seen, but let's have a look. Well, firstly, let's have a look at what happened to Dart. Okay, so Dart was the third in line here. Grunt Life took off first, and then Shinobi, and I think, if memory serves, I think Dart might have caught some jet wash here. Yeah, look at that. You can see Dart is struggling with something here. Flying right through the wake of Shinobi and Grunt Life. And yeah, that'll do it. I think Dart broke his landing gear. Right at that moment there. And after that, the gear wouldn't go up. And Dart had to come home. Oh, what a shame. La Super Tear at super high altitude. Catches a glimpse of EDUB, it looks like. Launches a missile down here. EDUB, I think, gets very, very lucky. Pop. No dice. A Super Tear comes in, manages to catch out Shinobi, as this missile does a very, very high altitude to low altitude shot. Shinobi attempts the notch, but the angle isn't correct for the notch. And unfortunately, gets caught out. I think BFG really has to do something about Super Tear at high altitude like this. Super Tear has been flying within missile range. They need their GCI to be telling them where Super Tear is and say to them, angle up. It's time to attack. There is an F-15 right above you. You have to start fighting. This fight between XG and Dusty, what a shame that this didn't last longer. XG, I think, definitely in the losing position in this dogfight. These off Warsight 120 shots towards XG, very, very, very ambitious. I don't think there was a snowball's chance in hell of those working. But just look at this coordination. Andy 45 and Dreamwalker firing 120s towards Dusty to clear up their friend. And XG gets away safe. I think if they had not been there to potentially save him, I think XG would have been in serious, serious trouble. Okay, so it looks like HTWJ is leading the way as Supertear launches his AIM-9Ms to introduce them to space. If there are any spectators for SATAC within the region, I think, of, let's see, Tbilisi, if you walk outside right now and you look upwards, you might be able to catch yourself a fresh AIM-9M from the members of inSky. A little freebie thrown out towards the crowd here. That's why the best seats for SATAC are always in Tbilisi-Lachini, because you might get to catch some aeroplane parts as they fall down to you, and a little free souvenir. Just make sure you don't touch that proximity fuse, or else you might blow up. This reminds me a little bit of Terminator, you know, Judgment Day. And here we see the terminal voyage of the AIM-9M. Boom. Looks like HTWJ is heading in for landing. Let's have a look and see how it goes. The wheels on the back of the fins are an engineering genius. Yeah, the rollerons, little gyroscopic stabilizers for this air-to-air missile. Of course, the Russians, during the Cold War, developed their own version of the AIM-9M called the R3S. And you'll never guess how the Russians managed to get the information on the Sidewinder that they needed to be able to develop their own missile. During the Korean War, a very early version of the Sidewinder missile, the AIM-9, was fired, I think, at a MiG-15 and lodged itself. It didn't explode. It impacted the aircraft and got stuck into the side of the aircraft during the Korean War. And the Russians took this example, carefully disassembled it, and developed their own version of the AIM-9 Sidewinder and turned it into the R3. And HTWJ lands successfully. And there we go. That secures round 2 for inSky. Yanyu, the next one up, as we see things from their perspective in the HUD. I hope you guys have been having a good time Don't forget that in chat, there are links to join in on the 51st PVO Discord and all of their socials. You can also join in on my Discord. You can hit that follow button down below to catch up with a whole bunch of airshow content. You can also follow me on Twitter, good places to get everything to do with me. I'm the Talking Aeroplane, and I have a little community that focuses on aviation content, which you're more than welcome if you're interested in things like SATAC to get yourself involved in. We see the runway just off to the left here, as we see inSky beginning their landing. Looks like Super Tear's next up though. Nicely done. I love the fact that on the very front of the F-15, at least in the F-15E, there's a little screw on the front of this nose cone here. This is the, you got any games on your phone angle? Where did Com 1 go? Who knows? That's a good question, actually. Where is Com 1? Looks like Yanyu pressed Com 1 on his UFC so hard that he pressed it right into the front of the cockpit, and now it's completely inaccessible. I had a car when I first moved to the UK where if I pressed the emergency hazard lights button too hard, it would just go completely onto the inside of the car, and I would not be able to retrieve it. Too busy talking to your mum? Well, I hope if you guys do take the time to talk to my mother, that you are very polite and careful. My mother is a very nice lady, very intelligent, I think, and responsible for raising potentially one of the best aviators on Twitch. So if you do take the chance to talk to my mum, be sure to congratulate her on her good work in making me, and she is single, so, you know, if you think you've got a chance, you could be my stepdad. I don't know why I said that, but okay. And there we go, Yanyu makes it down. One more pilot to come. Two more pilots to come. It's XG. And Andy 45. The main reason that me, Airshow, myself, are not participating in SATAC is because the organisers of SATAC considered me participating being unfair, thinking that because I'm so good at DCS, it wouldn't really be fair because the other teams wouldn't stand a chance. So they asked me politely that I could cast the event as opposed to participate, so that everyone else would have a go to actually fly instead of just getting decimated by me and my incredible aviation powers. And if any of you disagree with me, just remember that I am the controller of this Twitch channel, and I can ban you if I want. That's not true. BFG needs the next 3 rounds to win. If you're BFG, what do? I think for BFG, the instructions are as follows. Number 1, take measures to deal with the high altitude F-15. The high altitude F-15 is under no threat at the moment whatsoever. It can do anything at once, and something or someone has to be keeping an eye out on the sky and deal with that high altitude target, because it's been pushing itself into incredibly dangerous situations and has not been punished for it. Otherwise, for BFG, I just think they need to get their communication and organisation in order. I know that they're capable of doing it. They wouldn't be in this part of the competition if they weren't capable of doing it. I know that they've got what it takes for these fights. They just need to take a second, centre themselves, have a proper locker room talk, and refocus themselves on the fight, because something is going wrong behind the scenes, and I think they need to communicate with each other and encourage each other and head into the next round with a clear head, because I know that they have what it takes to win these fights. I've seen BFG win these fights before. That's the thing. I've seen BFG win in these circumstances. And there we go. That's the second to last. And XG comes in as well. The F-18's landing in formation, looking good, feeling good. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to give the instructions to restart. And we'll get ready for round 3. They need to pay attention to 3D SA. Yep. They knew coming into this competition that... Whoa, hello. Alright guys, it's time to get ready for round 3, where BFG needs to pull themselves together and inSky needs to focus up and get themselves ready. So that they can get ready for the next one. inSky is putting on a clinic at the moment, but they haven't won yet. So, everyone get up, get yourself a drink, go to the bathroom, and get ready for the next round. Okay, and let's get ready for the next round as we watch everyone spawn in and prepare for another fight. And STDGDFS, thank you for the follow. As we watch everyone start spawning in for round 3. Get their planes nice and ready and warmed up for the next match. Let's see. Shirasaki Sugumi spawning in. Let's see that paint job get applied. And isn't it amazing what a few hundred gallons worth of fuel can do to the weight balance of an airframe? Meanwhile, the other members of inSky getting ready in the F-18s and F-16s. This beautiful blue camouflage. It's like we have Charlie November, Bravo Foxtrot, and Bravo Foxtrot from the inSky Virtual Flight Club. Looking good and feeling good, I can only imagine. Hopefully Dart is feeling a little bit better after having a bit of a hassle on takeoff. Looks like Dusty is the first one to head over to the runway. Get a few weapons on Dusty, hey? Unless you want to go pure gunfighter. Okay, everyone's taking their place on the runway. Looks like Raptor Dad's the last one for BFG. Okay, so it looks like Raptor Dad is taking the rearmost point. BFG has what it takes inside of them to turn this around. I hope for their sake, full control of their collective acumen and achieve victory. I agree completely. I know that BFG has what it takes to win these fights. I just need them to find it within themselves to do it. There's so much potential here. There's so much pride, so much fight in this team. I know they have what it takes to win these knockout rounds, but inSky is such a difficult team to come up against. That's the thing. Looks like Shirasaki Tsugumi is heading up to the runway. All of the members of inSky begin making their way down to the runway now. Dang, with how long his SATAC has been going on for. I mean, there was a little bit of a break while we got ready for the semi-finals, but things are picking up in velocity now. I apologize for not having too much to say as these guys line up. It's been a very, very long week for me. In fact, the last 2 weeks at work have been terrible. So I'm glad to be hosting SATAC at the moment. The beginning of the tournament being quite some time ago. Hey, look! We've got a whole year to work with here. No need to rush things. What are you saying, Shige? You'd prefer it if I wouldn't stream high-level competitive DCS gameplay? Well, looks like inSky reports ready. Let's keep an eye on... looks like Tempest is flying at the moment. These semi-finals now? Yeah, these are best of 5 knockout rounds. Okay, both teams ready. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. All right, that means it's go time. Looks like the first of the F-16s for BFG are taking off. That's E-Dub and Dusty, the trusty wingman. They've done good work so far. Let's touch wood and hope that they can convert into the first victory for BFG. Meanwhile, looking over at the side of inSky, let's have a look at what these pilots are up to. And Yanyu leads the way for the second group of F-16s for inSky, as they take off, roaring down the runway. No takeoff mishaps for inSky. Let's have a look. As Rabdadad is the last one to take off. Let's see that afterburner roar. Maybe this is a little bit too intimate, hey? And there's a camera angle you'll never be able to get in real life. Alright, smells like everyone is up. Current separation between the teams is 140 nautical miles or so. It's like everything's connected and we are good to go. On this beautiful day for flying, looks like XG is leading the way here, electing to bring a few more AIM-9Ms this time. In fact, this loadout is highly questionable. All four AIM-120s are on one wing. Then there's two Sparrows on the centerline pylons, and two AIM-9Ms on the right wing, and a fuel tank. I'm going to be honest, I hate this loadout, and I hate the way it looks. This is disgusting, and I don't ever want to see an F-18 looking like this. I know that inSky are the best, and they've won plenty of competitions before, but this loadout is disgusting, and I hate it. Okay, leading the way, E-Dub and Dusty begin making their way into the circle. Yeah, what? Yeah, I hate this. You don't have to organize your missiles in your plane in order of size. I don't like that at all. In fact, I hope inSky loses this round because of that loadout. Shirasaki Sugumi is flying the F-15 this time. As a result, I don't think we have an Idolmaster skin, which is a shame. Obviously, the drag that's introduced onto this right-handed, or rather this outboard pylon, is so high that the teams just elect not to bring anything there. Looks like E-Dub and Dusty are well aware that there's going to be a threat up in the north. The Susan Boyle of loadouts. What the? That's such a mean comment. The Susan Boyle of loadout. That's so rude. I don't want to read anything like that in my chat again. Alright, chat. As we get ready for the merge here, I've got a question. Seeing as it's a little, a minute or two until we get action. Sparkling water. I want to know. You guys like it? Or you think it's overrated? When I was a young man, I didn't like sparkling water, but now that I've grown older, I kind of do like it. But carbonated water, you know? It feels very bourgeoisie. Has there been a presence of F-15Cs in SATAC even without data link? Oh yes. From the very first years of SATAC, and let's be honest, SATAC's been going for a long time. The F-15C has always had a place. Even with the addition of the F-15E Strike Eagle, some teams prefer the F-15C, and you can't blame them. The radar's just as good, though a little bit lower fidelity. And the absence of those conformal fuel tanks mean that at high altitude, it is almost unbeatable. Though with that being said, the Su-27s and Su-33s have a little bit of potential at super high altitude as well, though they don't have the benefit of Fox 3 missiles. Of course, the J-11s have the benefit of carrying SD-10s, but the SD-10s don't quite have the same super long-range performance as AIM-120Cs. OzDeadMe, you can comment as much as you like, I'm loving it. Please don't think that I'm discouraging you from sharing your opinion. I'm just admiring the fact that you express it so vividly. Ah, boom. All right. So it looks like Shirasaki Sugumi launches the first AIM-120. Where's this one going? Looks like it might be towards Grunt Life. This missile at 46,000 feet, traveling at 2,200 knots. Plenty of potential. But will that potential be turned into outcomes? Grunt Life probably going to have to react at some time here. But nothing yet. This missile definitely heading towards Grunt Life. Come on, Grunt Life, you have to wake up, man. This missile's got you. Grunt Life pulling some shapes. But is it going to be enough? Pulling it down to low altitude. It's all about maneuvering now, and Grunt Life manages to kaboom, outmaneuver the missile, and get away with it. By the skin of their teeth. Shirasaki Sugumi not getting lucky with that first shot. Okay, so we have Dusty, Tempest, E-Dub, Shinobi, Grunt Life, and Raptor Dad all cooped up in the north. Meanwhile, Yanyu, Andy, XG, HTWJ, and Dreamwalker are in the south, with Shirasaki Sugumi all the way by their lonesome up in the north. But going so fast and so high that they're not really under any threat at the moment. Now, how this transforms itself, we'll have to wait and see. Looks like Shinobi is beginning to make a move down south with an equally ugly F-18 loadout, still with all of their fuel tanks. Grunt Life and Shinobi both making a push towards the southern group, about 30 nautical miles away. I'm sure that we can get this music to be a little bit more exciting, hey? Let's see. There we go. So, in the southern group, Grunt Life and Shinobi just cruising with each other. Space Eagle's a menace. He's at 52,000 feet. Still afterburning. How much fuel is being burned here? 52,000 feet. Let's see if we can check the altimeter. Oh, here we go. No, that's the speedometer. He's so high up in the air, the altimeter is completely blurry. Grunt Life, only 14 nautical miles away from Andy, but instead deciding to turn cold. Not a single member of BFG above 20,000 feet except E-Dub, who is kind of just cruising by themselves. High and fast is king. Well, lots of members of inSky are at 20,000 feet and below. The only person above is Shirasaki Sugumi, who can't keep this afterburner on all day. Every second of afterburn that's happening with Shirasaki is burning more and more fuel. We have Yanyu at 5,000 feet and Shirasaki Sugumi at 50,000 feet. Yanyu with their friend fire 10 times higher than they are. Shinobi launches towards Yanyu potentially at 9 nautical miles. Actually, it's going up towards Shirasaki. It's a very ambitious shot. Shirasaki already turning south and potentially not even bothering to drop altitude here. That missile has no hope. That thing's already going too slow and is not even up at 50,000 feet yet. It is done for. Not happening. Another 120 shot. Looks like it's towards HTWJ. No, it's happening towards Shirasaki. This one heading up to 30,000 feet at 1,300 knots. It's just not going to have the speed. It's just never going to get up there. Unless Shirasaki makes a desperate mistake, which they're not even countermeasuring, that missile's got no effect other than getting Shirasaki to turn away. Andy is currently 9-10 nautical miles away, but is not engaging hot. Dusty all by themselves over on the west side, 9 nautical miles away from Yanyu. Dreamwalker, not too far away from Tempest. Have a look at what Yanyu's up to. Nothing yet, but Dusty and Yanyu are very close to each other. They're about to merge. Who's going to get... Oh, Dusty fires off quickly. Very, very close range shot with the 120, and it impacts. Dusty catches Yanyu off guard and manages to score the kill. Missiles coming in towards Dusty, but Dusty's already cold and has the ground for cover. Dusty pulls a cool maneuver against the members of inSky, who just got caught with their pants down. Grunt Life heading in. Grunt Life launches a wingtip missile. Towards who? There's plenty of 120s heading in. Towards HWJ and Andy 45. Let's have a look. HWJ going to have to maneuver outside of this one. Pulling some shapes down in amongst the trees. Manages to get away from it. What about this missile? Just misses HWJ. What about Andy? No luck. And Edub manages to get away with it. Lots of missiles spent, but no kills. 120 fired from Shirasaki. High altitude going low. Always difficult to manage the ground clutter. Keep an eye on that one. Looks like Grunt Life fires something towards Dreamwalker, who's already cold. Raptor Dad's going to have to contend with this one. And Raptor Dad manages to outmaneuver the missile by centimeters. Raptor Dad gets very lucky there. Grunt Life having to deal with a 120. Coming in super close. And dodges it. It goes overhead. BFG looks like they're coming back. BFG, an unrecognizable team from the first 2 rounds. Shinobi launches off 2 AIM-120Cs, 2 fired in response. Let's see how Shinobi's defense goes. Shinobi gets away with it. The missiles heading towards XG and HWJ. Also no luck. Lots of missiles shot, but no kills. Grunt Life heading in. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a missile shot here any moment now. Only one 120 left. Grunt Life leading the pack, though. Missile off the wings from Grunt Life. Looks like it's heading towards Andy at 5 nautical. Let's see how Grunt Life missiles do. inSky maneuvering hard. But is it enough? Oh, it is, just by inches. inSky manages to get away. Okay, so Grunt Life is down to Sidewinders. This AIM-120 with potential, but not locking onto anything. No dice. Looks like Dusty's heading in. Wanting to make a shot. Missile off the wings. Dusty fires. Looks like it's towards HWJ. The best shot he could have made at 5 nautical miles. HWJ is going to have to deal with this. Spoofs the missile into the ground. HWJ gets away with it. The missile's fired in response. No dramas, except for this one. Potentially heading towards Edub. Shirasaki at 50,000 feet. 1 AIM-120 left. Shirasaki Sugumi manages to score Edub. We'll have to check that in attack view. Launches a AIM-120 towards potentially Tempest. Shirosaki Tsugumi, only 3 nautical miles away from Grunt Life. It's even Stevens in terms of score. This 120 heading towards Tempest with potential. Tempest having to pull some shapes. Tempest continuing to pull. No countermeasures. Tempest reverses the turn and outspeeds the missile right at the last second. Someone shoot at Shirosaki Tsugumi, please. This missile heading towards Grunt Life. Grunt Life only has the terrain and uses it to get away from the missile. Someone shoot at Shirosaki. Dusty, please shoot. Please shoot at Shirosaki. Dusty launches a 120 towards Dreamwalker, who's at 2,000 feet and close. I did miss a kill, don't worry, we'll catch it on the TAC view. 120's trading in all directions, 120 heading towards, who's to say, Grunt Life merging, up close. Lawyer using the gun, no dice, against Shirosaki Tsugumi, who's down to heat seekers. Shirosaki Tsugumi having to dodge hard. Got an AIM-9M coming in. Oh, there we go. Shirosaki Tsugumi goes down. The AIM-9M takes him down, and it's looking like BFG might have some potential here. Dreamwalker coming in. 1 AIM-120 left, launches it off the wings of super close range shot, but who's it heading for? Ah, boom! Down goes someone. 120s and AIM-9s heading in both directions. Andy manages to dodge the AIM-9. 120 fired towards Grunt Life. Has potential. Grunt Life doesn't get away. Grunt Life gets splashed. Shinobi launches an AIM-9 at close range towards XG, but it gets done by countermeasures. Shinobi gets splashed by the AIM-9 fight in response. 120's coming off from Dusty and Tempest. This 120 completely heading in towards another member of inSky. The 120 heading towards Dreamwalker has potential. Connects. Does Dreamwalker go down? Dreamwalker goes down. It's a 2v3. So we have Andy 45, XG and HDWJ versus Dusty and Tempest. An AIM-7 off the wings from Andy 45. Doesn't look like it has useful track of anything. Tempest down to heat seekers, but brought the additional AIM-9Ms. Andy 45 has nothing but heat seekers to deal with. Looks like Tempest is turning into Andy. AIM-9 coming off, and Tempest gets splashed, but trades. Dusty, 2 versus 1. AIM-9Ns heading in towards Dusty, and kaboom! Dusty gets done for. XG and HTWJ, the last 2 standing for inSky, who, if they can make it back and land, secure the win for round 3. Now, the important thing to remember, that if lag is playing a bias, lots of the members of Bushido Fighter Group are from America, where the server is hosted, and all of the members from inSky are from China, which has the highest ping. If anyone is going to be benefiting from missile hits, it's going to be inSky, but let's be honest, I don't know You will have access to the TAC view files after the match if you want to go interrogate that. I agree with you completely, Shigo. To deal with that F-15, something like a J-11 would have been perfect. I don't think that at any point did Bushido have an answer for the ultra-high F-15 from inSky. I just don't think they did it. That's the unfortunate truth of it. I think that they just didn't have what it took. Of course, when it comes to discussing the accuracy of missiles or anything like that, it's not up to me. I just cast the matches, so if you have any problems with the performance of the server or the specifics of any bizarreness that happened without the competition, don't tell me about it. There's nothing I can do about it. You can talk to two people. You can talk to Eagle Dynamics and you can talk to the organisers of 51st PVO, but I can tell you, in good conscience, that everything has been made as fair as it possibly can be. Okay, so XG and HTWJ have to make it back now. 60 nautical miles left to go. I think they should be fine. Can you play the Apache on SATAC? I don't know if there's anything in the rules preventing you to. Alright, so... get everything ready. I remember that in all my time playing the JF-17 that the SG-10 is strangely good at climbing to hit high opponents, but can sometimes be opponents. It's because it burns for longer than the AIM-120. It's got a big rocket motor in it. And it's kind of like the Sparrow, you know? It's a big chunky missile, but it's got a big motor in it. So if it gets up to high altitude where drag is less of a problem, then the SD-10 has lots of potential. And he fires it off. Aim 7's up into space. Wait, here we go. $119,000 feet. Not bad, not bad. HWJ begins the journey down. Oh, watch out for the AWACS. Not bad. Looks like HCWJ is going to be the first one in, with XG to follow. Oh no, I know exactly what you mean, Shige. There's a definite family tree to that missile, for sure. HCWJ bleeds speed for the landing. Seaborne sparrows. Yeah, sea sparrows. In fact, I remember the company that developed the sea sparrow, Raytheon, getting roasted on Twitter because they described the sea sparrow as one of the most environmentally friendly missiles of all time, describing that their production processes were incredibly kind to the environment. For which lots of people said, what? And touchdown. Securing it for inSky. And there you have it. Okay, let's have a talk with... In fact, XG is just about to land. Let's have a look at XG's landing. The flaps on the F-18 can be a little bit of a bother sometimes. That's okay. Looks good, feels good, you're down safe. Okay. Hello, is this Raptordad from BFG? Oh, I'm not hearing anything, mate. Ooh, still quite... Oh, wait, I know exactly what the problem is. It's my fault. Okay, say something now.
Test, test, test.
Hello! How are you going? I can hear you now. How are you going, Raptordad? It's good to see you.
Likewise.
How are you feeling after that? Those matches. That was a tough fight. If you had to sum up your experience for BFG in that match, how would you describe it?
I'm going to give you two answers. One's going to be growth, right? It's because we learned a heck of a lot first time doing SATAC. A lot of guys kind of first time doing a whole lot of comp side. So a lot of lessons learned. Unfortunately, some hard lessons learned. And yeah, we got some. We're going to go back and do some debriefing.
And when you say hard lessons, what would you say it would be a hard lesson?
If there's a target roughly 33, Angels 33, probably don't shoot it, give or take.
I mean,
maybe.
I mean, it's tricky. It can be tricky. Yeah. Yes. And this is referring to the high altitude F-15 from inSky.
Yeah. So when specifically in reference to that, when I had defended, I was frazzled, of course, so I recommitted, and we knew that he was in a rough general area, and that's why I ended up shooting the AWACS there. So unfortunately, a couple of times he just kind of got in and just created a whole lot of havoc.
So that was what caused the confusion with the AWACS was you knew that there was a super high altitude target and you fired against it and you just misidentified the target. Was that what happened?
Exactly. Yeah. Probably follow on my end in that sense. The other guys, they had it. They were tracking right. It was just, yeah.
No, I mean, it's an incredibly easy mistake to make. Especially with the confusion of battle and all that sort of thing. You have a human GCI for this match?
We did, and he definitely called him out. He was actually phenomenal. Checklist did a phenomenal job there. Especially with the Eagle.
Oh, I see. This is Checklist, the famous F-14 Rio, now stepping into the AWACS role.
Absolutely.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, in the first round, the AWACS going down was an unfortunate moment, that's for sure, but understandable given the circumstances. In the other rounds, firstly, and this is just my layperson's interpretation, it felt like in the third round that BFG had everything much more put together and was a much, much more organised team than in the first and the second rounds. What happened in the locker rooms between round 2 and 3? And what got you guys kind of a little bit more on the ball?
So we had done some scrimmages earlier this week, and we kind of talked extensively about, making sure everybody stays in their lane, be in the adequate amount of aggression. and we kind of throttled back on that on the second round, and we kind of got pushed a little bit. But then on the third round, we kind of went back to the way that we had practiced, and we went back a little bit more aggressive. And so we all kind of focused up a little bit more. We kind of stopped smoking and joking a little bit, and then we just got on the ball as we knew we could, and we executed to the best we could, you know.
I would say that because I in the first and second rounds, I think me and my colleagues in the organization were like, man, I hope BFG just kind of does what they need to do to pull themselves together, because we know your team and we've seen the performances that you have been putting on, and just we knew that you had lots and lots of potential that wasn't necessarily being shown in the first and second rounds, but in the third round, I think that you really stood up, and it was a really, really close thing. Now, is this your first competitive SATAC style event that you're participating in as a team?
This is our first SATAC, but before this, we did do TACT. It was our first year doing TACT this past season. So we did a TACT as well as ACES.
Okay. And of all of the things that you think you need to focus on after being in these competitions and looking forward to the years to come, because I really hope that you guys keep going, because I think there's so much potential here that just needs a little bit of sharpening and a little bit of polishing. What do you think will be the focus for preparing for the next SATAC, the next TACT, the next event?
I think overall it'll be aggression. We're learning that's probably our style. I mean, you guys saw that in the last round. You know, when we do start being a little bit more aggressive, especially in the merge, that's kind of where we feel comfortable with. So I think in our off season, if you will.
Yeah, you did look comfortable in the merges. It's just getting to the merge that's the tricky part.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're kind of, that'll be what we focus on, just so we can get there, and then from there, you know, just kind of fly our fight.
Fantastic. And we have 1969 from inSky here. Hello, how are you?
Oh, yeah, thanks for getting my delivery working. Thanks.
Oh, that's my pleasure. I assume you were flying as the
Eagle for the first two rounds.
Yeah, the Eagle for the first two rounds, which certainly was quite confusing for the members of BFG. How is inSky feeling after those matches? Did you feel confident that you were going to win, or did it feel a little bit worrying, especially in the third round where things got very close?
Yeah. I think the third round is the one because you guys managed to, like, the BFG guys managed to get the Yanyu down first, and at that time Yanyu was carrying like a 4 M RAM and plus 2 side RAM. 2 side miners, so it's like a full loadout, and he goes on. It's like a big loss for us.
It is a big loss when you lose that many missiles, especially when each plane only has four AMRAMs. With the F-15 flying at high altitude with you in the first two round and Shirasaki 1997 in the third round, it didn't feel like the F-15 was under a lot of threat. Did you feel like the F-15 was kind of not being threatened by BFG?
I don't feel like that. I like sometimes I push it and when I'm pushing them, like they just try to notch my radar and trying to spread out so that they lure me in and they're trying to kill me. But that's the time where I feel a little bit pressure, but otherwise always good. Like I'm just hovering on the air trying to find chance. Get some field kills, yeah.
And who was acting as GCI or AWACS for your team?
I think he was 1155. I mean, he definitely did not fly the match. He has a GCI.
Oh, well. Firstly, for both teams, let me say congratulations to Checklist and 1155 for GCIing for their teams. It's a very hard job, often underappreciated. So thank you very much to both of those guys for GCIing for their teams. Now, first things first, for inSky, the victors today, if you have anything that you would like to say for the audience or anyone you would like to shout out or say thank you to, I give you the stage. Go ahead.
Actually, first I would like to say like I can see a big growth from the BFG. Like I think we had some matches with BFG before, and I feel like BFG today is much better than that.
I agree completely. I think BFG has grown enormously.
Yeah, the first two rounds well, actually like I saw the Apex was invincible. You can kill that. Actually, that surprised me actually for the first round. Did the AVAX actually go down and they lose like the ATC support? Is that
Yeah,
yeah.
I shot it down and checklist lost all visibility.
Oh,
they were confused because they thought it was the high altitude F-15.
Yeah, I can tell that. Yeah, I can tell that.
But other than that,
yeah, thank you for the streaming. Especially thank you for get my livery working. Thank you for leaving the server to get my livery working. If you don't get my livery working, I'll get 0 kills. I know. You know what?
That's okay. I do my best to make sure everyone's liveries are working, but sometimes I get left behind.
Third,
anything else?
Well, not much. Actually, I have a question for you. Ashley, do you know? Can you understand my name? Like my name? Or what did you? How did you reference me like in the first two match? Is that 1969 or after that?
1969. I forget what it was in the text.
Yeah. It's La Supette.
Oh,
that's
I
the
see.
thing. That's the French version of the Super Earth. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I did understand. Oh, okay. That makes complete sense now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
maybe the last one I will say is pour la Supette there for the Super Earth. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck in the matches to come. Now, for Raptor Dad, I hand it over to you as well. Anyone who would like to shout out, if you would like to say thank you to your teammates and all of the people that helped BFG grow so much over the course of their short competitive career so far, go ahead. The stage is yours.
All right. First and foremost, Airshow, appreciate you for streaming our matches. Appreciate 51st for hosting everything. I mean, you guys did a phenomenal job with it. And then overall, of course, the team, nobody does this by themselves. Everybody's, we're real critical of ourselves. But at the same time, we know our limits. We know when we're starting to grow. We know we need to throttle back and things of that nature. So first, big shout out to the team. Everybody's sticking with it. And then, of course, the support that we're receiving from everybody in the community from DCS. So we really appreciate everybody just rallying with us and bearing with us. Please believe we are not going anywhere. You will be seeing us in some more comps. We're going to get better in the off season. So just be on the lookout for us. We're going to be around for a while.
That is one of the beautiful things of the competitive DCS scene, I think, is that we might all come from different parts of the world and have different beliefs and different interests and different backgrounds. But whenever any new team or any new group gets involved in competitions like SATAC and things like that, there's never any negativity. It's always positive. It's always people being like, oh, let's train together. Let's get better together. Let's fly together. It's just I almost feel like it's a big family of people supporting each other. And that's part of what makes this so good. So I'm glad to hear that you are being welcomed as you deserve to be in this competitive environment.
Thank you.
Yep, definitely. Thank you.
No worries. Anything else you'd like to say, Raptor?
Nope, just shout out to you as well for hosting this.
I've got the easiest job out of all of them. I don't have to do anything, I just have to watch. Okay, guys. Well, in that case, I will wish you a very good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. And I will say my goodbyes to everyone in stream. Thank you very much for the fight, and good luck in the matches to come for both of you.
Yeah, take care.
See ya. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, and that's it. Round 3 goes to inSky. A wonderful match for both teams. Everyone who participated should be feeling very proud, and I hope that you had a good time too. please take good care of yourselves and each other. There will be 2 more matches tomorrow. So, tomorrow at the same time as today. In fact, let me correct myself before I get this wrong. Tomorrow, on Sunday the 28th at 14:30 Zulu, so half an hour later than this stream started, I will be streaming Team Whatafuck versus Gun Gun Gun. And then at 1700 Zulu, there will be Eclipse Task Force facing off against Phoenix Task Force. And let me double check who is hosting that, because I think it's AlphaGator. Will be hosted by AlphaGator. Make sure that if you guys are having a good time, you hit that follow button down below, and you also join in on my Discord, and you follow me on Twitter to get informed when the next matches start. And also, you engage with all of the socials for the SATAC organizers. Please take good care of yourselves and each other. I'm going to say goodnight to you all and wish you all a very, very good weekend. Lots of love and bye-bye.